It's your boy on rock, and he be lining down the block just to watch what I got. So delicious. So delicious.
Really looking right. Now I'm going to add my water. Okay. I have 2 cups of very fine, thin egg noodles. They're going to go into a these noodles. I'm going to dump the noodles in it. I'm going to stir it around. A little bit larger than golf ball size matzo balls. Okay? And then I'm going to drop them into my water that I have simmering here. I'm not boiling the water. I'm just letting it simmer. See? So we don't want to try to blow them apart or anything. Another jam-packed episode of Dad Can Cook. This is season 2, episode 4. In this episode, we are going to make a Manhattan-style matzo ball soup. Okay, and I'm going to make it with leftover chicken that I have from a previous meal. Okay, it's a way to convert my leftovers into something else that's really good. And we're also going to make an oyster pan roast in this episode. But first, we're going to make the matzo balls. Okay? Now the ingredients for the matzo balls is matzo meal. Okay? So I have 16 ounces of, I'm making a lot of matzo balls. I have 16 ounces of matzo meal here. I have a half a cup of oil. I have 3 teaspoons of kosher salt. I have a half a cup of water, some pepper, and 10 eggs, which I already beaten. Okay? And I have a pot here that's full of water, and I'm going to salt that when that comes to a boil, and we're going to make the matzo balls in this. But first, what we have to do is, after we make the matzo balls, is let them set in the refrigerator for like 45 minutes. So I'm going to put the matzo ball mix together, then I'm going to come back, we're going to make the matzo balls, I'm going to make them up, right? We're going to make them up, and then we're going to blanch them and poach them in the salted water, and then eventually add them back here to my soup. And when I get to the soup, I'm going to tell you that in a second. But let's get this matzo mixture made up. Okay? So I'm going to start with a spoon and a spatula. I have a spoon and a spatula here, wooden spoons. Okay? I'm going to add the salt, and I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 grounds of pepper. Okay? I'm going to mix that up. Let me pull this over here so you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to mix that in there, incorporate that. Okay, now I'm going to add my eggs. I'm going to mix that in. Mixing it up nice. It's getting mealy looking, right? Now I'm going to add my water. Okay. It's kind of looking like oatmeal. Okay. Starting to mix that in there like so. Mix that around. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to get there with my spoon. Mix that up. Okay, now that I got that going, that's pretty mixed. I'm going to add the oil. Okay. Okay, now that's going to get incorporated in there. See that? It's getting very pasty. It looks like very, very dry oatmeal. But it's really just matzo meal. And all matzo meal is ground up matzahs. And I've been making matzo balls with ground up matzahs for years. And I saw the matzo meal in a store, and I compared the prices. It's the same weight. I compared the prices, and the matzo meal is $1 cheaper than the matzahs, and I don't have to do all of the grinding in my food processor. So that's a no-brainer for me. Okay, mix this up really nice. Okay, for the sake of the show, I'm just going to stick this bowl right in my fridge so I can get going with the rest of the stuff. But I would normally take it out, put it in a container, put a lid on it. I will do that when I get done with what I'm doing here. So, I'll be back. Like I said, they're going to be blanched in this pot. So I'm going to put this pot over here for now, because we got an hour, 45 minutes. But what I got here now is 2.5 quarts of chicken stock, okay? A quart of this I had in the freezer that I had made homemade, and the other 1.5 quarts is collagen-contained chicken stock, okay? And what we're going to do with that is, let me show you. I'm going to turn this on, I'm going to bring this up, and what I have here is I have 2.5 cups of diced chicken that I had left over. Okay, that's going to go in at the end. I have 2 cups of very fine, thin egg noodles. They're going to go in towards the end also. But right now, I have a cup of celery and a cup of carrots, sliced. And cubed for my carrots. I got the baby carrots that are already peeled that I just cut up. Okay, so that's going in, and that's going to be cooked and made tender. And this is going to be warm, and it's going to be on the back burner when we're making the matzo balls before I add them to the soup. So we'll be back as soon as the matzo meal has set up. And by that time, this will had come to a boil, and the celery and the carrots will be made tender here. So I'm going to have tender stock I'm going to have tender celery and carrots in my stock. I'm going to add the noodles to that, the chicken to that, and the matzo balls to that. But we're going to cook the matzo balls when we come back. Okay. The chicken stock is boiling pretty madly here with the celery and carrots in it. Alright, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to dump the noodles in it. I'm going to stir it around. They're so fine that these noodles are going to cook in about 3 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this back to a boil right now. I got my cover here. So as it's coming back to a boil, if you could see this, I'm just going to give it a little mix around with my wooden spoon. Okay, we don't want this loaded with noodles because it's going to have the matzo balls. I'm going to give it a little mix around, let it come up to a full boil, and I'm going to turn it off, push it to the back of my stove, and let it finish cooking with its own heat. So it's really rolling here. I think you can see it. Okay, now at this point, here's my chicken. Now at this point, you got chicken noodle soup. You could add some more noodles to it and just stop here. But we're going to do the matzo balls. So I'm going to put in my 2 cups of chicken, or 2.5 cups of chicken from a previous meal. This is done. Okay? You can come in 5 minutes. Come eat this. So now, on the back burner. We'll be back when the matzo meal sets up, so we can make those matzo amigos. We're now going to make the matzo balls. I just want to tell you, matzo ball soup is like a blood feud among Jewish people. You can never ever tell anybody they make bad matzo ball soup, because it's like an insult. Because the matzo ball soup recipes have been handed down from generations, from grandmothers to grandmothers to their mothers to their mothers. So you never ever ever tell anybody they made a bad matzo ball soup. You're going to be in for trouble. Well, I put my mix in a bowl and I covered it like I said I was going to do. Okay? And let me see. Let me get it this way. I got my pot over here. I got my pot there, right? And what you need to do is you need to wet your hands. Normally I would just wet them in the sink, but I don't want to keep walking away. And we're going to make a little bit larger than golf ball size matzo balls, okay? And then I'm going to drop them into my water that I have simmering here, okay? So we're going to dip, roll, okay? We're going to drop them in. Okay, and I'm going to serve like 3 of these in each bowl of soup, because it's going to be our main meal tonight. Okay, roll them up. Okay, if it starts to get a little sticky, you put your hand in the water. Okay, that one's just a little bit too big. I'm going to break it down. There we go. There we go. In the water. Okay. Beautiful. Now we're going to make an oyster pan roast, which is going to be next. And I made the oyster pan roast at a restaurant called Rick Newman's in Manhattan. Now Rick Newman used to own Catch a Rising Star. He was a comedian at one time, and he was Pat Benatar's manager. And I was the executive chef at his restaurant for almost 2 years. Okay, the place burned down and had financial problems due to a faulty Ansel system. I think that he probably collected the insurance and just closed down. But when I was over at Rick Newman's, I made this oyster pan roast there, and we had a review, and the review said that my oyster pan roast rivaled the Grand Central Station Chowder Bars, which was a nice compliment. So we're going to make that after this one's complete, and I show you the presentation. We'll go into the oyster pan roast. I'm going to finish these up. I'm going to leave them in the simmering water for about 15 minutes. I'm going to take them out, I'm going to drop them into the soup, and they're going to be done. Okay. They're about half done right now, and I just want you to remember that we're not boiling the water, we're just letting it simmer. See? So we don't want to try to blow them apart or anything. But they're going to be pretty dense. They're pretty dense. And you know what? They're pretty big, so I may only put 2 in a bowl. But 3 is normally my presentation if I was serving this in a restaurant, and I'll show you how it looks as a main meal. Actually, I probably should have doubled this recipe, you know, because you could keep them in the water, you know, in a brine in your refrigerator, and you could take them out and you could use them whenever you like to. Okay, welcome back. Let me show you the presentation of the Manhattan matzo ball soup. Okay? Okay, we got our bowl. Put our bowl there. And here, look. They're steaming away here. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take, you know what, these are really big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out 2 and I'm going to cut them in half. See that? Okay, you want to make sure that they're cooked all the way through. You can tell by looking at them like that. And then this is going to be the presentation. We can always have more matzo balls, but see, that's quite a bit. Okay, and remember the soup. Okay, we're going to put the soup in. Beautiful presentation of the matzo ball and the soup. Let's see, we'll get a little close up on that. What do you think? It's a beautiful dish. So we're going to enjoy this for dinner tonight, and I hope you make it and you enjoy it. So thanks again, and we'll be back in a minute to work on the oyster pan roast.
Honey, get some patience, maybe then you'll get a taste. I'ma taste it, I'll be laced with lace. It's so tasty, it'll make you crazy.
To the A, to the S-T-E-Y, girl, you tasty G. To the A, to the S-T-E-Y, girl, you tasty D. To the E, to the L-I-C-I-O-U-S, to the D. To the E, to the hit it, Fergie.
All the time I turn around, brothers gather round, always looking at me up and down, looking at my. I just wanna say it now, I ain't trying to round up, drama, little mama. I don't wanna take it back, and I know I'm coming home.
Come fill my glass up a little more. We're about to get out and burn this door. You know we getting hotter and hotter, sexy and hotter, let's shut it down. Yo, what I gotta do to show these girls that I own them? Some call me Nikki and some call me Roman. Skeezer, please, I'm in a visa. Whoa, just stop using my own sneaker. Sexy, that's all I do. If you need a bad bitch, let me call up yo. I'm someone and I'm living many services out. I see some good girls, I'ma turn them out. Okay, bottle, sip, bottle, guzzle. I'm a bad bitch, no muzzle. Hey, bottle, sip, bottle, guzzle. I'm a bad bitch, no muzzle. Let's go.
Makes me